All right, there's somebody. All right, this gentleman wants to know about hurricane planning, which he thinks is important. So you can go ahead and sit down. Please sit down. I'll answer your question. Have a seat. Look, you know what happened in New Orleans and right here in Beaumont. Don't worry, I was getting to y'all. Was a travesty, obviously. And so we have to plan ahead, even as we're rebuilding the damage that's already been done. And there are a couple of steps that we have to take. Number one, we should be preparing now for and anticipating more violent storms, partly because of global warming. That's why when I talk about global warming, don't think this is just some issue about polar bears in North America or in the North Pole. It is also an issue right here in Beaumont because and the Gulf, because if storms become more violent, that is going to have an impact. So we've got to prepare. We know the storms are going to be more violent, and we've got to make sure that the levees and other barriers are in place that can provide more protection. Now, part of that is doing it in an environmentally sound way, and so having the wetlands that are in place that can absorb some of the storms is something that's very important. I confess that I don't know enough about the configurations of this region. I know more because I've been really studying what's happening in New Orleans. I would need to talk to geologists to find out more about what's been happening in terms of erosion in this region. But historically, when you have natural barriers, that lessens the impact. When you start carving out a lot of these areas to make ports more effective and to make the waterways more efficient for commercial usage, that can also make these areas more vulnerable to violent storms. So we've got to think that through and then make the investments and make sure that the Army Corps of Engineers are doing everything they can to prepare. The second thing that we're going to have to do is make sure that we've got a federal emergency management system that is headed by somebody who's not the head of the Arabian Horses Association. Somebody who actually knows what they're doing and can put plans in place in a smart, intelligent way. And the third thing is the federal government has to work with local and state officials to think about the planning process in terms of where development is taking place. Because one of the things that happens in a lot of these communities, people just build anywhere they want, thinking that it doesn't matter. But it does matter. And it's going to be harder and harder to get insurance in these communities. It's going to be harder and harder to protect people if we don't have some regulations dealing with how development is proceeding to make sure that people aren't building in the path of what are certainly going to be significant storms. So that's what I will do as President of the United States. Now, all right, in the meantime, we got to help rebuild and deal with the damage that's already been done. And I've already said that I will bird dog reconstruction of the Gulf as a consequence of those hurricanes, and I will not stop until we have actually gotten the job done. And that person will be reporting directly to me as President of the United States of America and will be held accountable for it.